Okay, sorry. Third time's a charm. Had a little technical difficulties. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are finally here. I am just distraught. That was an abysmal game. Offense put up 10 points. Defense only allowed 9 points. This team just looked ugly tonight. Sunday night football, all the eyes on us, everybody in the world watching us, and we came out flat. Absolutely ugly, embarrassing loss. That's an embarrassing loss. And on top of it, you lose Trent Williams, your best offensive lineman. He's going to be out a few weeks, high ankle sprain. You lost Aziz Al Shahir. He has an MCL injury. Like, this team consistently gets hurt. You had Jimmy Garoppolo looking like Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, everybody expected him to be the Messiah. That was an ugly loss. I know it's still early. It's only week 3. There's a lot of football left, and this team can bounce back. You know, I will say that. But, man, if they continue to play the way they did today, oh, man. Oh, man. It was ugly. Wonder why people call us whiners. I mean, I was whining that game. It was ugly. I was whining all night. Riley says, Raj, what do we do? Mental health is not doing well. Yeah, man. I'm still processing it. I had a long drive to get home, so I'm a little bit better than when I was when we first lost. Holy moly. Yo, 11 to 10, 49er Ben says, what are you going? I mean, Jimmy showed everyone exactly why the Niners replaced him, said sad Niners fan. I mean, this is why they got away from Jimmy, right? He couldn't extend plays. He couldn't hit open receivers. Debo was open on that one, play early in the first half. I mean, there were some nice plays. I mean, like Kyle Juszczyk made an absolutely incredible toe drag swag. Like, there were some big plays. There was a nice play to Jennings, but there was not enough place to push the ball, and Kyle fell flat with the offensive game plan. It was so crazy, man. Hold on, we got a guest coming in. Smitty's coming in. Talk about this with Smitty. Man, how you feeling, bro?
It makes me more mad, the more you see plan B looks like a trash can, it makes me just wish everything would have been plugged into plan A.
That was so bad. Like, do you know what's so funny, Smitty? You know what pisses me off so much? I want to say pissed because I'm kind of level headed. Like, I'm not mad anymore. Like, when you come into this game and everybody's like super pissed right now, I'm kind of accepting it because we talked about this all week. Kyle Shanahan limits this team. He's not, he gets a lot of credit. And it's like people don't want to put any onus on Kyle. Yo, Kyle Shanahan's been on this. He's been a head coach since 2017. The offense looks the exact same as it always has. And I know, last week we had Trey. He was pushing the ball down the field before he got hurt. In week 1 against the Bears, I know it wasn't the prettiest game. It was in a swimming pool. Trey wasn't bad, man. People sit here and they put this man's head on a splatter, man. They put Trey Lance's head on a silver platter and they were cooking him up. He didn't look that bad, Smitty, overall these last 2 games. Compared to today, we saw absolute horrible offense plays. There was one play I texted you, like before the first half, and they run Debo right up the gut. Like we said, don't run him
Mm.
up the gut. I thought
Meaningless.
Debo was going to get absolutely hurt tonight. Glad he didn't. But there was the play where he left the game and he went to the medical tent, and I was like freaking out, bro. I thought he was going to get crushed. I mean, he got just clobbered in that pile of bodies, man.
Bro, meaningless play. Like when you're gonna literally run the clock out to go into the locker room at halftime, why would you even give the ball to anybody but a running back? That makes no sense, especially after you had a scare. And the scare came before that, right?
Yeah.
The Debo scare came before. So what are you doing? Like that alone is why you question Kyle, period. Like, can I give you the best analogy for what Kyle is? And I know I get a lot of heat for it, but like this is the perfect analogy. When Kramer in Seinfeld, was Kramer not one of the best characters ever made on TV? Like
Yeah, he was.
his character is amazing. Like what he was, his personal life semester, whatever. But on Seinfeld, Kramer was the best. He went off and tried to do his own show. It didn't work. Like Kyle is the best at what he does, but he's not good at being the head of everything because he doesn't get to focus on what makes Kyle good and what makes Kyle Kyle. and it's just there's too far in between moments where he can showcase his OCing and make good like he's lost in his own head. He takes his foot off the gas. He shouldn't be in charge of making those decisions, when to put the pedal down, when to take the foot off the gas pedal. Those are all coaching decisions. His offense and scheme is good. Let someone else decide what to do with it. You know, I'm not saying he can't play call, but you need somebody. There needs to be somebody there, and he's not going to do it. He's not going to take a demotion. So he's either gone or everybody keeps riding this over and over and over and over. Like, I know everyone's laughing about the D'Amico Ryans thing, but I mean, you're
Not a
going to
bad.
lose him, and then what?
Like this is the thing, and I credit Kyle for so much. Again, this team was so bad. We had Chip Kelly, Tom Sula. We could sit here. I know the story. Da 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 da. Bro, he doesn't win big games. He loses leads. Like, you've been in the league for so many years. I'm gonna say it right now, and I get it. Jimmy Garoppolo was not good, but what you expected Jimmy Garoppolo to be fucking Lamar Jackson today, Josh Allen. If you did, you don't know who Jimmy Garoppolo is. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo was Jimmy Garoppolo. He wasn't going to be anything special. He was going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. Kyle Shanahan has been a head coach for multiple years. Nathaniel Hackett, this is his third game as a head coach, and Kyle Shanahan got out coached. Flat out, simple, plain and simple. You let Russell Wilson, who you were cooking up, the defense was playing their ass off. Eventually, in that Mile High Stadium, you're going to get tired. Like, Bosa was getting tired, but he was still playing relentless. Eventually, you're going to let up a play here and there. By the fourth quarter, Russell Wilson, he was doing his Russell Wilson stuff, running the ball around us. He was extending plays, and he had a whole drive, 6 minutes worth of a drive, and he scored on us. And after that, the offense couldn't move the ball down the field. You had a fumble, you had a punt, you had a safety. You know what? It just was the offense. Look at this. Hold up. This was.
How do you not know that? I don't understand. You're a starting quarterback in the NFL. How do you not know you're on? I mean, the other thing too is, like, the people that defend Shanahan, and I know there'll be a few in here that are going to say, "Are you okay? Let's calm down, pump the brakes." You know, why would you fire Shanahan? Like, you can keep playing for second place, or you can recognize when you need to move on. And this is you say it all the time. See, Max says it all the time. Vlad says it all the time. A lot of people do. It's a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah.
So it should be a little easier than. And if you, it's like, okay, so you take a frog, you put it in boiling water, it jumps out. It's like, that's hot, bro. I'm not going to jump in that boiling water. You put a frog in lukewarm water, and he's sitting in there. You turn it on high, it gets hotter and hotter, and slowly he cooks to death. He doesn't jump out. It's like the same thing with a Niner fan. You guys slowly but surely accept this little thing that Kyle does, that little thing that Kyle does, that little thing that Kyle does. Sum total, you're standing up above watching this. You're like, do you guys realize what you put up with over and over and over and over from the Debo fiasco? I know some of you say that could have been prevented, blah, blah, blah. It was Debo's fault too. I don't think it was, because when Debo would be on his lives, like on his mom's live stream, he just wanted to talk. They weren't even coming
but
to
he
the
couldn't.
table.
He had a liability. He couldn't say much because media is gonna use every little word he had. You're right.
But I 100% in my bones know that the team wasn't coming to the table. It was like, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. We told so just everything, the whole entire offseason. Like, you guys have put up with a lot and you don't realize it. Yeah. Like, he's mismanaged everything. There hasn't been one thing he's managed right that's been a big issue. You know, it's like, yeah, it's abusive relationship. He keeps coming back, not with flowers. He keeps coming back with something else. He's not even bringing flowers, bro. He's
not bringing flowers.
But you all keep returning to him like he's I know you're not right now, but I'm saying, like, it's frustrating to watch. You know, like, he's not doing it. He's not as good as he is at whatever he's good at. Okay. He's not good at this head coaching thing, because if he was, he would have brought Tom Brady in. If he was, he would have put his money where his mouth was with the number 3 overall pick. You don't draft a number 3 overall quarterback and not use him until the second year after a debacle offseason with the starter previous, when the starter's Jimmy G. It's not like an Aaron Rodgers sitting in front of him. It's a Jimmy G. And Fields got to play. Trevor Lawrence got to play. Herbert got to play. Burrow got to play. Name a quarterback in current
And real
time.
quick, look at Trevor Lawrence. Last year he had a horrible coach, right? Urban Meyer was terrible, and Trevor Lawrence was looking like a bust. This season he's really looking good. Jaguars are playing good. You need that development. Trey needed that development because everybody said he's not ready because he needed to play, man, and it sucks that he's not out there. And look, I get it, Kyle. We said it. His play calling was bad tonight. It was just horrible. Like he didn't put this team in position to win games. But Jimmy Garoppolo was bad today. But we knew Jimmy was Jimmy. Like, bro, did you see? There was a play with Debo wide open, and Jimmy looks at him. He looked at him, and he doesn't even throw to him. And he goes to Ayuk, makes an ugly pass to Ayuk, and then the triple coverage interception. I mean, and then you go back to Kyle Shanahan, right? He's using Jeff Wilson Jr. as running back. He had a really nice run in the early in the game. Then they went away from him. They were using Debo, and then at the end of the game, they started putting Jordan Mason in. He got like 2 carries. One of them looked good. End of the game, he put in Jeff Wilson Jr. again, and then he fumbles it. He has this team. He has personnel on the roster. He's not using them. They signed Marlon Mack. Use them. Tevin Coleman. You have these players. Utilize them. He just runs people to the ground, man. I don't get it. And you're right. Kyle just makes
I also think like
bad decisions.
I also feel like it's one thing after another, and you don't notice it because you forgive it and you accept it or whatever. But I kind of feel like the best way to describe it is that it's almost as if like so you take a quarterback at number 3. Like let's go back real quickly to what I was saying. You take a quarterback number 3 overall. You are saying this guy is worth starting in today's NFL. Like again, name a quarterback that was drafted high that's not starting. It's all these guys start. It's the way the NFL is. Back in the day, like even Mahomes, it started to change right around Mahomes. But back in the day, Mahomes, right before that, you could sit a year. Aaron Rodgers sat. It was kind of commonplace then. But the college games changed. You're more developed. You're just kind of wasting time if you don't get a quarterback out there in year one. But you guys always say Super Bowl caliber roster. And C-Mac or Vlad or C-Mac said that the team's not going anywhere. The Super Bowl caliber roster isn't necessarily going anywhere in a very short window of time. I mean, sure, you got to retain guys. So why not kickstart it early so that you're doing what the Jaguars are doing? You already walked into this year where Trevor Lawrence is instead of worrying about 1 year at a time when you're drafting a guy that is the future long-term perspective. It's almost as if Kyle's job was on the line, even though it wasn't. The way he was playing, I need to try and win now, and Jimmy might give me a slight chance better to win now, so I'm going to keep Jimmy in there. When Kyle should have been playing a long game all along because his leash was so long. Like, why not put the rookie in there, let him develop, and then.
You're right. You're absolutely. I'm gonna dovetail off that because you're right. Like we said last year, start Trey. You drafted him, start Trey, and they kept on keeping this insurance policy. And then what? Last week, Trey unfortunately goes down. They're like, oh, isn't it smart that you kept Jimmy this whole time? Oh, it didn't look even. He didn't look any better than anybody else that could have went in there to play quarterback. And it's like Kyle makes these decisions. He's obviously got a lot on his plate, man. He just makes bad decisions. He makes some good ones. Like there has been good decisions. Like we know the late round picks and everything. There has been some good. So you go to 2 NFC championships in the Super Bowl. But man, it's like when the big pressure moments come, like tonight, he was up 10 points. You had it. You had the game in your hands. You just couldn't put it away. And one thing we talked about all week, actually leading up to this game, we've talked about it a lot. Kyle Shanahan being the head coach and offensive coordinator calling plays is too much for him. We know he's like a good offensive mind. Like, of course, he has a great offensive mind. He can figure out schemes, but he's getting too predictable. He's not changing it up. We know what he's going to do. The loss of Mike McDaniel is so big, man. I don't think people realize how big Mike McDaniel. People say the offense is the same. Kyle's running. No, Mike McDaniel, man. Look at him in Miami. I know he has a great team, and it's a lot of money he spent on that team, whatever. Mike McDaniel. Bro,
I'm laughing because somebody said, did Kittle play?
No, bro. Jimmy says, what a waste of a
I don't even maybe he didn't play. I don't know. Did anybody see Kittle on the field?
Yeah, like
I don't know, bro. The problem I have, part of one of the main reason I haven't been around lately is because I've been like, people don't understand how slammed I am with what
Yeah.
I'm doing. But I also, when I've had a free moment that I thought, okay, I'm going to sacrifice this family time to jump on, because I do that a lot. I sacrifice
Right.
this. I was like,
Right.
I'm so down about what happened with Trey. The last thing I can do right now is go in and listen to people say, "What a genius move! Insurance policy. So glad we have it." Like I couldn't muster through hearing that when I was already in a place where like I was spread thin anyway, and I'm like, I'm just like my patience is thin. But it's like, do I think you guys have a shot that could Jimmy look better next week? I'm not saying it's not possible, but I firmly believe that he's got a lot of pressure on him now. I think right now he's going to feel like I told you, he came into that game. There was no pressure at all. He was the hero. It was the Seahawks. It looked great. Everything was going to be fine. This is
Yeah.
different, man. This is different. And now
The
he's
whole
got
week.
a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, it was a whole week.
Eh,
Like, you know what? Last week, Jimmy came in. They were all prepared for Trey. Pete Carroll was prepared for Trey. Jimmy came in. He was playing loose. He had nothing to lose. This week, a whole week of preparation, and teams knew, okay, we're playing Jimmy. Let's game plan for him. And when the O line, the O line was falling apart. When Trent Williams went down, that was bad, man. If Trent
I
Williams is out for a long time, this is going to be a tough stretch of games. That was a huge loss. High ankle sprain. It could have been worse. They said high ankle sprain. We're gonna get more information on it tomorrow. That was bad, man. And then
I
Arik
can
Armstead, he has a plantar fasciitis, and then you got Aziz out here. Dude, these injuries pile up. We talked about it all week. Like, how do the Niners continue to mask so many injuries, dude? It's
There's
baffling.
got to be something to it. I'm serious. There's got to be like someone does an audit on it, like figure out why. There's got to be something to it. I guarantee you by week, I almost guarantee you by week 8, Brock Purdy will be starting. Not not
Uh,
necessarily not necessarily replacement, could be, but Jimmy G probably gets hurt. Like his even
right.
said his arms like
With that old line, like Jimmy was taking hits too. Like Jimmy was getting cooked. Did you see there was one play? I mean, he got hit like Justin Herbert last year. Just pounded him. I don't know how he gets the ball up. Like that was actually an impressive play. I was like, oh God. And he gets it to Juwan Jennings. Like if he's taking those hits without Trent Williams, he's gonna get hurt, bro. Like this was ugly. This was your number 9 pick, the number 9 pick in the first round a couple years back. He is so bad. Oh my God, Mike McGlinchey just stands there and he watched the line. He like stands there. Oh, what do you? You sacked the court. That was so bad, dude. Oh
um
God.
I don't know, man.
Oh,
If I were coaching this thing, I'd probably I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what I'd do at this point.
tough, man.
You know what Miami Mike would do? He'd get aggressive. He get like seriously, he'd get aggressive. He'd make a trade. He'd do something.
He
That's what
would
I
be
love about Miami Mike.
field. Like I get it. Like, okay, I know Jimmy's not gonna throw 60, 70 yards down the field. He doesn't have that cannon. But let him test, like at least call some go routes. It's the same like you're down in the game and he's throwing the same plays, man. He's running the same play. They're not working. And then the safety was just that was icing on the cake when I was just like, oh my
Like if
God.
I know you guys think I'm crazy, and I am a little bit, for sure.
No,
If I was no, wait till I'm done. If I was in charge, I realize you gave up the farm for Trey Lance. I get that. But if I was in charge, because Super Bowls make a lot of money, so ultimately you could spend a little bit, and as long as you win a Super Bowl, everyone's happy. I would do what I could to trade for one of the 2 best backups in the league. One of them, I don't know who the other would be at this point, but I would say I would go trade for Tyler Huntley. If I was in charge, that's what Miami Mike would do. He would just sit here and go, okay, let's just try and do this. He would literally try and solve the problem. And I know that could create a problem down the road with Trey and Tyler Huntley, but Tyler Huntley, in my opinion, is the best backup in the NFL and should be starting for a handful, not 1 or 2 teams, a handful of teams. And
it,
I know
I
that sounds crazy
don't
because it hasn't happened. It's uncomfortable until it happens.
Smitty, I don't think it matters because he's still going to be calling the same plays. Run play on first. It's third
I
and
know.
long.
Well, no, you don't. I
Oh,
didn't finish. I'd get rid of Shanahan too.
no, but
I would.
they're not going to do it. They
I know
love
they're
him.
not. I know they're not.
They
I'm just telling you, I
like
would.
I know you wouldn't. Smitty. Yo, somebody in the comments said, I think Sad Niner fan, you run a screenplay on the goal line. And I, God, dude, the play calling was great. Again, I
Yeah.
get it. It was a combination of bad QB play and coach, but you're a coach that's been on the. You've coached this team since 2017, man. Like you're coaching up against a rookie head coach. You know what? It was a defensive struggle. Both teams were jockeying. Both teams were fighting hard. In that moment, as a head coach, you need to make those moments. You need to make those calls. You need to put your team in position to win the game, man, because you know it's going to come down to one big play. They couldn't stop Russell Wilson. Let's hear from Kyle. I want to put. Let's hear what Kyle had to say tonight, shall we? Oh my God.
How bewildering was it that Jimmy stepped out of the back of the end zone at that point?
I mean, that was a tough situation I put him in. That unblocked guy coming. Wish we'd had time for the big play and could have ditched it. But it was a tough situation I put him in.
After the Wilson fumble at the end, that's how you approached the official. You were pretty upset. What were you mad about?
I just stopped from where I was, which I'm not on the line, so I could be wrong. From where I was, I thought their 3 technique jumped a couple plays before that on the big sack that set us back. But that's what we all saw from where I was at. But I don't know how it was.
And then I want to hear this is what Kittle had to say. He said, because they were what, like 1 for 10 on third downs? This is what Kittle had to say.
Was our first drive in the second half the safety? No, there's one before that.
Because it was the fumble before that.
Yeah, so I mean, there it is. Yeah, we turned the ball over, 3 times with a safety. Kind of hard to do anything. We were 1 for 10 on third down. Kind of hard to get anything going. I mean, that's all it is. We have really good players at a lot of positions, and I thought guys played well tonight. The effort was there. We didn't execute very well. I thought guys, we had chances, obviously in the first half, to take advantage of our defense playing at a super high level like they did the entire game. But we just didn't do that. And when you go 1 for 10 on third down, you can't really, expect to win very many games.
Bro, the last time he had a good quarterback thrown to him, those glasses were in style. Like this poor guy, and he doesn't know it though. He doesn't know better. He thinks Jimmy G is the best thing ever, and that's the part that's frustrating. But again, back to what I was saying real quickly. I'm telling you, it sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy, but guess what? A lot of this stuff sounds crazy whenever you say it until things start unraveling, right? I would literally put D'Amico in charge, and I'd say, here's Tyler Huntley. I know it's a lot to give up your mortgaging more future, but you guys can win a Super Bowl right now. You're not going to win a Super Bowl in these conditions. You're just not. You have 2 things going against you. You got a bad quarterback, and you got a bad head coach that has a good scheme but can't put it together because it's like he's blind leading his own mission. He doesn't know what he's doing out front. It's like that.
I said it a week. Remember I said, Smitty, last week, I said it, and everybody thought I was so crazy in the chat. I said, you make D'Amico Ryans your head coach. And I said it, and it really, I bet you tonight, if I say that, D'Amico Ryans head coach, everybody will say, did you see the defensive performance? We had an amazing masterclass performances deep. Like, I have to give so much credit. Nick Bosa was working, man. This guy was, they had to take him out for plays because he couldn't breathe in that mile-high air. The guy was taking plays off, and he didn't want to because he was grinding. Fred Warner was shooting like a missile, man. Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley, these guys were dogging it, man. Talanoa Hufanga, like these guys were playing. Kevin Givens, Drake Jackson gets his first sack.
Raj, why aren't you listen?
Ryans.
Why aren't you on the phone with Cam Newton right now? Why aren't you on the phone? Why not bring in a competent?
Run him up the middle. The quarterback.
But you could win with Cam Newton. I really believe that. I don't think you can win with Jimmy G. You could win with Minshew. You could win with Cam Newton. Call in Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No,
like these are better options than Jimmy G. You can't win with Jimmy G. You're not going to win with Jimmy G.
Cam Newton's out of style like his outfits. Cam Newton's not bringing it's Kyle, man. I'm telling you, Smitty. I disagree with that one. But listen, man, this defense, wasted performance by this defense was so good, man. It's just frustrating to see it because the defense put this team in position, and I kept thinking, okay, we got a chance. They turned the ball. Oh my God, defense playing out of their mind. And then I said the turnovers are going to be the issue for this game. Whoever makes more turnovers is going to win the game. And the end of the game, the Niners just fell apart, man. And that's preparation. You have to put your team in a good position to win. And that goes back to coaching, man. And I know people are going to sit here and they're going to rewatch and they're going to listen to this and they're going to say, yo, you guys just hate Kyle Shanahan. I don't hate him. I just think that after so many years of head coaching, man, you should be better prepared than a rookie head coach, man. And I know you're on the road. There's no excuse. You have the best team. Like
Yeah.
Kittle said, you have so many good players at so many positions. Like, look at the talent on this team. We've said it before. Like you said, Vlad and C-Mac, they say Super Bowl roster, Super Bowl roster. It doesn't matter if you can't put them together and get them to win. Like, it's frustrating. Like, I know it's still early. It's only, week 3. But shit, man, when you lose a game like this, it's just like, God, man, you shouldn't lose a game like this. You lost the game in Chicago where you probably should have won that game. You start having too many of these little, it's just, it's a bad little loss. You should have won it. Eventually, your record's too bad to catch up. Last year they were 3-5, and they turned it around. It's crazy. Like it's like they dig themselves in a grave all the time, and then they got to bounce, like climb out of it. They do it all the time. Like it's hard to climb out of a hole when you dig yourself in one because the NFL is tough. It's a week by week. Players get hurt. You can't guarantee everything. And you have to win these games that you should. Like the Niners are a better team than the Broncos. They just couldn't execute tonight. And it was so heartbreaking,
Brock
man.
Purdy starts by week 8. I'm telling you right now.
Think so? You think so?
Either Jimmy's so bad, Brock Purdy comes in, or Jimmy gets hurt.
I don't even think Brock Purdy's the answer. See, that's the thing. Like, I just
I'm not
don't
saying he is. I'm just saying it's going to happen.
You're probably right. I just don't even think quarterback plays like. Okay, I will say this because again, there were some bad plays, but Brock Purdy's never played in the NFL. He's a rookie. Like everybody expects him. Like because I already see the comments. You got to put Brock Purdy in. It's not going to be a different.
We said these same things about Jimmy G and Trey as a rookie. I know Brock Purdy's no Trey Lance from our perspective, but you can't just keep acting like Jimmy G is a better option. He's not a better option than anything. He's going to have you just waste your season. You might as well see if Brock Purdy's the real deal. You get a season with Brock Purdy. Maybe he's not worth it. Maybe he's the next leader of this team. He could be. We've seen this before when Trent Green went down. He was supposed to be the guy. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's Kurt Warner. No. I'm just saying you never know.
It's a young kid. Let him see what he's got. Like low key, we might just go into like a little rebuild, see what you got, and if Brock Purdy wins games, that's icing on the cake. Like, I see what you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
Why? Like, I know everyone in here is acting like that's crazy talk. I don't think it is. I think what's crazy is you thinking you're going to get anything accomplished or get any kind of progression with either Purdy or the team by leaving Jimmy G in the lineup. I'd rather take a chance that Brock Purdy is the guy that you scouted and you selected. And you selected him for a reason because you think the talent's there. You guys are really good at finding talent at the end of a draft. He was at the very, very end of the draft. And so maybe he's nothing. But I believe Jimmy G is not the answer. So why, just like last year, why go through the motions and not have somebody prepared? At least in that case, you have Brock Purdy prepared to back up Trey Lance so that your backup plan next year is already in motion.
That's actually a good arc. So, like, when Trey comes back next year, Purdy's going to be your QB2. So you need to prepare him in case Lance gets hurt again. I see where you're taking that. Actually, it's not a bad take. I know people are going to say, because you're going to see a lot of people out there that says,
yeah, they're going to get mad.
Purdy there. I actually see where you're going with that. With that take. I mean, it was just frustrating loss because again, defense was lights out. Like this defense is so good, dude. Like this is the best defense in the league. It was insane watching these guys just flying. I was like, oh man, every time defense was making play after play after play. But that's the thing. The Niners are so physical, man. They hurt themselves sometimes, just running so physical. I feel bad for Debo. He was trying to do everything. It's like Kyle was forcing the ball to Debo. Brandon Ayuk, man, he was getting open. He was getting some plays, and then they went away from him. Jeff Wilson was gashing him early, and then, he got tired because you don't rotate him with Jordan. You had Jordan Mason rotated, and they gave him like 2 carries, and then they forced it back to Wilson. It's like he forces players the ball, man. I don't get it. And then Jimmy just missed some bad plays. Like Debo was wide open on a play. it was tough. Like they had moments where you're like, okay, they're coming back, and then they just
Yeah.
kept shooting themselves. It's
Look,
the same story.
yeah, I know the chat usually is a little bit angry with me when I come out with something, but like everything I said the last time I was on isn't getting any negative feedback now. And it's like that some of the stuff I'm saying now is getting negative feedback, but watch. If we were to play this back where I'm talking about Brock Purdy needing to be in there to get ready for backing up Trey, we're going to see everybody in week 8 act like that's not crazy come week 8. Right now it seems crazy, but it doesn't seem crazy. It won't seem crazy once the time comes when everybody realizes you're just wasting opportunity to develop Brock Purdy. You're going to wish you had done it and jumped on it, just like you wasted the entire 2021 season because you didn't win. Like you could say, oh, we got far, but you didn't win. You didn't win a Super Bowl. Therefore, you should be developing your backup plan that will be naturally in place, not forced in place, naturally in place next year for Trey, who's coming off a major injury now. And what if you got to throw Purdy in? Now Purdy's going to be ready to take over.
It's actually not a bad take. I actually think it's a smart idea because look, if he is your true quarterback too, at least get him some development. Because what happened to Trey? They didn't give him that development. He had to kind of learn on the fly. And then the whole Jimmy situation, like it was, the whole offseason, he didn't even give him the playbook. So if you knew, like, I think Kyle probably knew there was a chance that Jimmy was going to stay. He didn't prepare Jimmy this offseason. Although he's a veteran, he shouldn't need the preparation. He still had a whole new playbook, right? Remember the whole story of, Kyle doesn't give Jimmy a playbook. Yeah. It's just just a lot of bad decisions going on.
And everybody's saying that they don't necessarily disagree with that point of mine. They're saying that they disagree with that Kyle's the problem. That's been what I've been saying for like 2 years. So I'm ahead of you on that one. I'm saying that Kyle needs to be replaced with D'Amico right now. Or you call up Sean Payton and you say, what does it take? What does it take? Because he wants to come back. You can tell. I mean, what do you think Sean Payton would say if you offered him an opportunity? I mean, this would be not a great opportunity.
I don't know. At the end of the season, you don't even know who's going to be available. It's too early to think about who because there's always different people that come up, right? I like D'Amico. That would be my go-to because he's just so good with the defense. The team would respect him. I got a question here from Jeff Nelson. He says, you really think Brock Purdy is better than our last backups quarterbacks, Nick Mullins? We don't know. At least I think he'd be better than Nick Mullins. Everybody acts like Nick Mullins is great because he beat the Raiders one night and he got verified. Like Brock Purdy could be better than Nick Mullins. We don't know. We don't know. I don't know.
Better to know now.
Yeah, and if not,
if Trey can't stay healthy because of the ankle injury that Shanahan bestowed upon him.
Yeah, then next year you definitely need to draft another quarterback. And Alexander says, I think Kyle will ruin Brock too.
That's why he needs to go. That's why he needs to go now. But no one's gonna fire him. That's the thing he's not getting fired. He's not getting fired. He should be fired, but he's not getting fired.
Yeah, there was a comment here. I think it said somebody said. Let me see. There was a comment. It said something about. Let me pull it. Oh, this is good. It says, "Where's Jed?" and a tweet about his piss poor offense performance. Crickets from him. You're right. Again, front office. They seem to they don't say nothing. I'm not saying that. Jerry Jones, as much as I hate the Cowboys, Jerry Jones would have went off. Niners, stay off the side. It's quiet. It's just a tough loss tonight, man. It's a tough loss. I blame myself, though. I cursed this team. I'm going to say I cursed this team. And I'm officially retiring the Trey Lance jersey until he comes back next year. And it's just is sad for me to do it. It's gutted me. I wore the jersey today because I said last week I'm going to wear it every week for Trey. It's my boy. And last week when I wore the jersey, he got a fractured ankle. This week, we lost the game, and Trent Williams got hurt, and Aziz got hurt. So I think right now it's best to retire it. I'm literally crushed that I have to, but can't do it, man. We're going to have to retire the jersey till next year. I can't wait for Trey to come back so I can wear the jersey again. It was a tough loss, Smitty. I'll take the reason that we lost the game. I know people want to blame me, so I'll just take the loss.
I don't know, man. I think there's solutions out there, but Shanahan's not going to explore them.
Yeah. Thoughts about? They said, then they said I cursed us with the Wilson dog meme. I guess I did. I jinxed us all. It's all my fault. Thoughts about the next 3 games? I don't even know about the next game. I can't think about the next 3. LA Rams? No Trent Williams, Aaron Donald. It's not going to be an easy game. Monday Night Football. Niners backs against the wall. It's not looking good, man.
Nope.
But it is an NFC West division. You know, teams come to play. Teams come to play. If the Niners win this game next week, they're back in the swing of it, you know, in the NFC.
You might want to tell C-Mac to lay off though. We're gonna stop these teams. He's been he might be part of the jinx too, because he's releasing these videos. They're like, we're gonna stomp these garbage Bears, and the Bears win. It's like I think C-Mac's jinxing things.
Oh man, my man Jeff said, I love you guys. I just don't think you take that chance with the Super Bowl roster. It doesn't matter. We got a Super Bowl roster today. We lost. We couldn't. They're not
Super Bowl.
If they're playing the way they play like this on a weekly basis against these teams that we should beat, you need to stop thinking Super Bowl right now. Let's try to get to the playoffs first. You
can't drive the fastest car in the world with no tires, bro. Like
how ugly that's, man.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here. Jimmy G's like, we got like one tire on a car that it requires 4. He's like 1. You're not gonna get there with them. There are options out there, but like everyone's saying in the chat, Shanahan will just ruin those people too. But I mean, you definitely don't have. I mean, he's gonna get Debo's gonna be hurt, which what I said before the game started, Debo would get hurt. Debo almost got hurt, and we were fearing the worst there for a minute. He's going to be hurt by week 8 or week 9. Before double-digit weeks, Debo will be hurt if he doesn't start using him better. You don't throw the ball to him. And that's Jimmy G's fault and Shanahan's fault. But you don't throw the ball to him where he's got to leap up, grab it, and then 4 guys surround him. That interception was horrible, too. There was literally 3 guys standing there. He throws these hospital balls we all know about, and I feel like he's just going to get. You can't get Debo put in a position where he's going to get laid out and smashed by four defenders. You know, and run him up the gut at halftime instead of kneeling the ball. Like, what are you doing? If I was Jed, I'd be like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Like, I don't know why he's the be all end all. He's got nobody to.
It's ugly, dude. I get it, beautifully flawed. I know. I'm gonna stop. I stopped chirping. I loud and clear. The message is loud. I called myself out on that. I know. Blame it on me. You know, and you know, Baby Smitty even did the Smitty shuffle, and we lost. I felt bad because Baby Smitty did the best dance of the week.
I know now you can't even use it anymore because you don't know if it was the jinx.
I don't know if it was I don't know what it was. No, it was just bad play by this team.
It was probably media.
It probably was. You know, a lot of people are saying it's chill one game. This is not one game. We had 2 bad games. Like, we should have beat the Bears, and they should have beat the Broncos today. And last week we got lucky, man. I honestly, I was at that game. Remember I said, I was like, I just felt weird winning that game. I don't know. Defenses played their ass off, and Seattle made mistakes last week that kept us in the game. And again, defense, they stole this game. Defense was tearing it up, man. But after a while, defense can get tired, man. You could tell they were huffing and puffing, man. They were huffing and puffing towards the end, and the defense was putting it all on the line. Like, I feel bad for these guys, like Nick Bosa and Hufanga. Like, these guys were flying. And then after the game, Fred Warner's like, yeah, you know, our defense could still play better. Like, no, dude, don't say that. The defense played as good as they could, man. It's just rough, man. You know, I missed Lance because after that first loss, he took so much blame. He took so much crap. He took so much heat. And the media just took a dump on Trey. And that pissed me off. They dumped on Trey Lance so mad. So you know what? I hope the media this week, I hope they all apologize. I hope they pull the plugs out of their ass and stop hate. I hope they apologize to Trey, because that was not all on Trey that first week, bro. Like, Colin Cowherd. I need to hear what Colin Cowherd has to say after he dragged Trey through the mud. All these national media guys that dragged them through the mud. I can't wait to hear what they have to say, because that was absolutely just disgusting to see the media drag him.
Bro, it made me sick too. It made me sick too to hear Collinsworth talk up Jimmy G like the way he did a couple times. He's like, oh, what what an amazing throw that was. And then the next play, it's like, I don't know, man. It just all makes me sick. Raj, I'm sick to my stomach
I get it.
because of that. I don't think Shanahan would have been as maybe he would have. I don't think Shanahan would have been as reckless if Trey was his main option. It wasn't his main option. He had two equal options in his mind, or he thought he was playing the lesser of the two options. I really believe he probably felt that way because I don't think he was all. There's no way you tell somebody they're gone, you let them give a goodbye speech, and then you bring them back unless there's some second doubting going on, which was bad for Trey. We don't know what caused. We don't know where Trey would have been had he gone through a process where he was given every chance to succeed. He was never given a fair chance. And I honestly believe you'd be in a different place. Could have got hurt on another play. I'm not saying that it may not happen that way, but it's frustrating, man. I know Trey's only 22, so maybe he's still got a shot, but with
Smitty, Trey's coming back. Physically, he'll be back. I know the body, how it works with rehab. So he's going to be back because he's a young kid that's a good athlete. He'll be back. The worry I have with the injury like this is mentally. That's going to be tough on him. But the players come back from these injuries all the time. It's happened with many players. Joe Burrow, Nick Bosa's come back. A lot of players have come back from a tough injury. It's the mental aspect, and I don't know. And the thing with Shanahan or Trey in this whole rehab process, he's got to deal with Kyle. And the thing with Nick Bosa, the reason he came back at such a good level, unlike a lot of people that come back from injuries sometimes, Nick Bosa did his own. He didn't even go to the Niners facility. He stayed in Florida. He stayed away from this team, and he did his own stuff. He rehabbed on his own. So if I'm Trey, I'm taking a page out of Nick Bosa's book and doing my own thing and making sure I'm around people that have my best interests, Because maybe you're right, Smitty. Maybe Trey wasn't Kyle's guy. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Mac Jones, like they all said, right? Like I don't know. We were just speculating.
I'm convinced it was. I'm convinced that it was that bad overthrow on his pro day that made the media go, you can't trade up to number 3 to take this guy. And then he was like, he was overruled.
You remember that Pro Bowl or the pro day? Because you're right. Because him and Shanahan were like, him and Kyle, him and Lynch were like talking, and you could tell they were like, they were kind of like, damn it, they kind of wanted him to shine in that. And then when Trey went out and put a show, it was like, woo, and they pacified Justin Fields, made it look like, yeah, we liked you, but that wasn't the guy they wanted. Maybe somebody else wanted him. Maybe McDaniel wanted Fields. I don't know. Again, it's all speculation. I got a question from Chris Rodriguez. He says, how good do you think the Broncos are? I don't think they're a good team. Their offense couldn't move the ball. Their defense is pretty solid, but they're not a good team. They have a rookie head coach that just doesn't seem like he knows how to use Russell Wilson. At the end of the game, I think they really figured it out. Like, oh, we should let him run. The fans were booing. And I think they were booing because they're like, dude, use Russell Wilson the way Russell Wilson needs to be used. I don't think the Broncos are that good of a team, honestly.
No, I mean, you let a guy who needs a clock manager beat you like that.
Hey, but it helped. Maybe Kyle needs another guy out there, because the Broncos, they hired a game managing assistant. Like, that's his role, like a game managing assistant. Maybe Kyle needs to go hire a game managing assistant. Like, go hire someone to help you out, bro.
Somebody can make decisions for him, all of them.
Johan Hernandez says Broncos made adjustments at the end, 100%. That's what I said earlier. Like, Kyle didn't make the adjustment. It was the same. He was calling out the same plays, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I have a question from Arnav. He says, I have a question. If DeMeco Ryans is head coach, if DeMeco Ryan head coaches that game, do we win? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. His defense was the reason the Niners were in this game. It's tough. But you also need to make sure that your offense can make plays. And I don't think they had the quarterback at the helm that could make plays. Like Jimmy got shook after that safety. I think Jimmy he had no confidence after that. He was, and the O line, man, we got to talk about the O line a little bit more. The O line was just bad, man.
Because
And
it's patchwork.
oh, my boy Burford, like I love, me, Spencer Burford's my boy. He made some bad penalties. He's definitely a rookie. He made rookie mistakes. Those penalties were bad. They moved him back. Mike McGlinchey had bad, pass protection. It was bad. And then Trent Williams goes down. Jalen Moore's not Trent Williams. I'm sorry, Jalen Moore, but you're not. The offensive line was ugly, man. And for whatever reason, man, you lose your running back, Elijah Mitchell, and I still think he doesn't know how to use this offense now without Elijah Mitchell. Like, he's not figured out who's the main running back. Like, Wilson looked good at times. He just doesn't know what to do at running back right now. And he's, again, using Debo up the middle. Going to get Debo hurt, man.
Yeah. I mean, injuries, somebody's got to be like, what's going on with the injuries? Somebody's got to, I don't know, man. I just think it's going to be a rough year. I hate dude's literally maybe he thought that entire like white like strip was in.
There it is right there once he steps out.
Maybe.
You know? I thought I could step all the way through to the. Okay. Unbelievable, bro. Maybe he needs a goal line coach. They could tell him where the goal line is each play. I mean, it seems to be working. All right, man. Well, I'm going to jump. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about the loss. I'm sorry about the loss to all the faithful watching.
Hey, Smith, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for hopping on tonight.
I'll try and be positive next show. I just
good. It's good. You know what? I saw some memes real quick. You know what helps me sometimes, Smitty? Memes help me. Before you leave, let's put a couple memes here that I think we both appreciate. Let's do this here. So, real quick, I really do appreciate you for hopping on, Smitty. This was a good talk. This is a good one here. We miss Mike McDaniel, and honestly, I just got the X-ray results from Kyle Shanahan, Smitty. I got the X-ray. They just sent them to me. You want to see Kyle Shanahan's X-rays? He got that dog, That's how we cope. We're gonna laugh tonight. It is what it is, man. It's tough. It was a tough game, but hey, it's week 3. It's gonna be a long season. Let's hope that they can turn it around. They did turn it around last year. They were 3-5, and they made it to the NFC Championship game.
Yep.
I love you, man.
I appreciate you, man. I wish it was better outcome for you. But maybe you turn it around. I mean, you got a tough Rams are next week, right?
Yeah, Rams next week, Monday night. You got an extra day to prepare. Are you mad, Smitty? You're not
about
laughing.
What? About what? I'm not. I'm just frustrated with this how I mean, whenever we're getting on here, we're talking about Trey. It's a downer for me because not only was I his agent, now I don't have a player to represent.
I know. Yeah, I know.
But number 2, I'm frustrated that no one's even thinking the way I think in general, the way that I'm thinking that he is fully responsible. I mean, there are a lot of people, but I mean, when I come in here, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like everybody before the show before completely was all over the Jimmy train. And I know you guys got to get that to that point because you're back in the team. But just when I come on here, it just reminds me so much of what could have been. And I think I'm still not over that. And it just pisses me off. I'm just mad. I'm very angry inside because I feel like this kid was not given a chance. And what kind of makes me even more angry is that Shanahan's still standing in the way like this. He's there. When Trey comes back, Shanahan's still standing right there. And I just think he's going to put roadblocks in front of him. And so it's just like, I hate to say it. I know you're not going to want to hear it, but I just wish you get traded. I want him to have an opportunity. And I don't know if Shanahan's going to give it to him. And everyone could say, oh, Trey. I'm not saying it'll happen. I'm just saying that's how I feel. I just feel like I don't want him in this situation. If Shanahan's gone, then I want him here. But I've been a backer of Trey from the beginning, and so as his agent, I'm looking out for his best interest right now. Shanahan is standing in his way.
I agree. But you know what? If the Niners continue to lose, maybe he goes on the hot seat. Maybe he does. I don't know. I don't. It's hard for me to see it because I feel like this team just really loves him. But I don't know. Maybe a move happens. But I don't know. We'll see. Ramon Garcia wants to know: do we trade for Lamar if we have the assets? We don't have any assets. We traded all our assets for Trey Lance. They're not going to trade for Lamar. And if Kyle doesn't like to utilize Trey Lance the right way, what's he going to do with Lamar? He's going to make him do the same thing. Like, no, they're not trading for Lamar. I think we have to see what Trey does. Like, he's going to eventually get his chance. But you're right. I think Kyle might stand in his way. And you know what I said at the beginning of the season? And I remember I said this. I said, Trey is going to succeed as long as him and Kyle are on the same page. If you have that coach-player relationship, the trust between quarterback and coach, and I remember I said this a lot every night. I used to, like, beat this take with a dead horse. And I used to say, if Kyle and Trey are on the same wavelength and he trusts him and he lets him go out there and be his own quarterback, it's going to work. I feel like right now they're definitely not at that moment. Like, you could tell Kyle and Trey they didn't have that bond yet. And I don't know if they'll ever get it, because if your coach doesn't trust any player, especially quarterback, it's not going to happen. So if Kyle's still on the roster, it may be difficult for Trey to succeed. And I agree with you on that, Smitty. It's tough, man.
Yep. And I think that's why I'm so, like, maybe that's why I'm so, I don't know, in the vibe that I have is so, like, down, is because I don't see, like, a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, oh, he's gonna get better and come back. I'm still, like, I'm looking all the way down this tunnel and it's all dark to me. I don't know.
The dark tunnel.
It just feels that way, man. It feels like there's no way out, for Trey. It's just, he's got to be frustrated. Like I described earlier, it felt like the whole team was against him too. I mean, not everybody, but it felt like when he went down, it was like, it felt like to me, everyone turned their back on him. And
I don't think the team was against him. I think they genuinely love Jimmy. Now, what I said earlier this week, I said they love him because they went to war. They've been in they went to that Super Bowl together. So he's like part of that core. It was that core memory that I kept saying. So I think they'll grow to love Trey more. I think they love Trey like a little brother, but you're right. Maybe they don't embrace him like a leader yet. And eventually they will. I know certain players did. Like, there was, like, Brandon Ayuk. You could tell he was gutted when Trey went down. I mean, you see the picture. Like, he just looks sad, man. I feel like there's some players that are more hurt than others. I know we talked about some of the other players' comments, like Kyle Juszczyk. He's like, oh, back to playing Niner football. If this was Niner football, it was not pretty, man. That was not what we want to see.
The comment by Jose saying, like somebody said, it feels like you're playing for second place, and it's depressing to feel that way. I think that's the way I felt last year when Trey Lance won that Houston Texan Week 17 game, and you had a chance to go in with the rookie like Herbert playing good. And I know the Chargers didn't win. I know Burrow got injured, like week 10 or whatever. He didn't win. Like, I get it, but they didn't have the supporting cast that Trey had. Trey came out and won a big Week 17 game, and I guess the problem I have is that was the time to develop him, because if it failed, you failed anyway. Like, so that's what I was saying when I was saying it early on. Like, if you don't win a Super Bowl, you miss the opportunity to develop Trey anyway. And so it's like that's just why I'm so frustrated. And so now it's like, for me, I know he's 22, I know he's young. But the reason I'm a little bit down, I'm even down on Trey, I'm down on Trey's value right now, because it's like he's been out of football for so long, and now he's got to sit out a whole nother year. And now this one he's going to learn as he goes year is going to happen next year. It's just I'm just pissed, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go.
I feel it, man. Real quick, we're gonna keep you here all night. Let's talk a little bit more. So there was a comment that says, "Relax, it's third game. Jimmy's first start of the season." Bro, Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo have been on this team since 2017. There's no excuse. I don't care if it's only the third game of the year. You shouldn't lose this game. That was a pathetic performance on Sunday Night Football. He wasn't prepared again. Like, that's the issue. Week 1, Niners weren't prepared for that game. Flat out weren't prepared. Tonight, they were not prepared for this game. I don't care if it's game 3. So I want to ask you this question, because I know we love percentages. What percentage of you is pressing the panic button? Are you worried? Or you think do we press the panic button? I know it's week 3. I know people are like, "Oh God, these guys here they go again." Week 3 panic button. How high is it for you?
For what what's the end result of this? To make the Super Bowl, to make the
Playoffs.
playoffs?
Playoffs. I know. I'm keeping.
I mean, I pretty much pressed it already. Like I going into that game.
Okay.
Do I think that there's a 5 or 10% chance that the defense is so good and Brock Purdy comes in? Not with Jimmy G, no, with Brock Purdy coming in, and it sounds so funny now and everything. These quarterbacks sometimes can emerge like that. It's always funny, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa, this guy kind of has something." So we can come back to this video if we want. If Brock Purdy ends up doing it, like you've got at least a shot to develop. Like I said, why go through? It's so simple to me. Like I feel like I'm sitting on the outside. I'm not saying I know everything, but in this situation, it's clear as day to me. I'm talking to a bunch of fans half the time, and I know they don't see it logically because you're invested in the team. Okay, yeah. But you have 2 options here. 1, you fail with Jimmy G, and you will, or 2, you develop Purdy and fail with Purdy, and you set up your 2023 with more of a probability of success because you have at least your backup totally ready, and you move on from this. But the problem is, like I forget who said it, that the problem is Purdy's going to get hurt, and so then it comes back to, do you need to also implement the removal of Shanahan before you get to that point? So like that's not going to happen though. So if you do put Purdy in, maybe he does get hurt. Maybe Shanahan ruins him too, and then it's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad take. I know people are gonna watch this and be like, "Oh my God!" Like, I don't think it's a bad take. You need to keep preparing your future. Again, so my percentage on the panic button, it's still early for me to hit the panic button yet, because I did see this team somehow, some way go from 3 to 5 to NFC Championship. So I'm not panicking yet. I am gonna panic a little bit more tomorrow when we get more results from Kyle Shanahan during his press conference about Trent Williams and a little bit more of, his injury. I would say so, like a percentage from 0 to 100. 100 is like, oh my God, absolute panic mode. I'm gonna say right now I'm at about a 15%. I'm not panicking yet because I am worried about the Trent Williams injury. That Trent Williams injury is gonna be tough. But I know that the reason I'm not panicking just yet is the defense is great. They're gonna keep us in games, and the NFC is wide open. Like I still think we could limp in to a playoff spot in the NFC. So I'm not too worried yet. But if we lose next week to the Rams on Monday night, I'm going to be in really high panic mode.
Let me ask you one question, then I'm out. Then I got to leave.
Yeah.
The button's in front of you. I want you to put your hand up. Okay. You're gonna either press the button. So put your hand up. You're either gonna press the button or not.
Okay.
You replace tomorrow morning Shanahan with D'Amico Ryans.
Am I pressing the panic button?
If you press the button, you fire Shanahan and you put D'Amico in tomorrow.
Let's do it, baby. Let's get D'Amico in there.
It's nice to see you do that. I'm honestly impressed.
I love D'Amico. That's my guy. I was the one that came up with that take last week on the live, and everybody flayed me for it. So I got to stick with my word. I want D'Amico. I don't want to lose D'Amico. I'm slamming the button, Smitty.
Mm-hmm. My button's been pressed for about a year.
I think D'Amico's going to be a good coach, but I know we need offense to win game. Like, you can shut out people all you want, but you need to have offense. But Kyle's the wizard, and they scored 10 points tonight. 10 points, bro. Maybe it's too early. Maybe I'm panicking a little bit. Maybe I'm worried a little too much too early. But 10 points, that's bad.
I think for the most part, you got like an 80% agreement with the D'Amico take. I mean, it's the way I feel. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have a divide, and it depends on the platform you're on. Like you're on Twitter, they hate Jimmy G so bad on Twitter, Niner Twitter. It's so vicious. And you go on Instagram and it's very, very pro Jimmy. You come here, it's kind of like you're dragging over the Instagram people and so it's kind of a mix here on YouTube. But Instagram, it's like you go to Instagram, these takes are nothing. These are soft takes. These are light. This is light work on Instagram.
Went over there.
I mean,
Yeah,
on Twitter.
yeah,
On
Twitter.
Twitter.
But man, oh man, tough loss. It's ugly, but we got to move on. Next week, hey, Riley's right. Win next week, and we're first in the NFC West. So at the end of the day, it could be worse, right?
Yeah.
And points, man.
All right, man. Well, you lost the bet, so you got to either do
I
push-ups
lost the bet, didn't I?
or we could do something else. We could figure out something else.
God. I can't believe. Oh my God! It just hit me, dude. I can't believe. Oh my God!
You can get a white. I'll tell you what. If you don't want to do the push-ups, you can get a white T-shirt. Draw Kyler Murray's number on it, and I want you to.
God.
I'm gonna call you up, and you're gonna be Kyler Murray.
Oh, that's good, dude. Smitty, I lost. I forgot, bro. Oh my God! You were right. You said Kyle was gonna be the downfall of us in this game, and he was, bro.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But we'll make another bet tomorrow or next week. I don't know if you're gonna bet me next week.
Yeah, I'll bet you. Don't worry. You know me.
But yeah, you can wear a Kyler Murray homemade white T-shirt jersey, and then I'll dial you up and I'll interview you.
All right, dude. All right, man.
All right, man. Later.
Have a good night, man. I love you, man. Have a good night. Oh man, what a night! Unbelievable. Oh man, Niner faithful. That was a tough loss. It was an ugly game. Defense put their heart on the line, and we scored 10 freaking points. Any last comments, concerns? We'll stay on for a few more minutes. Phone's probably gonna die here. Again, appreciate the support. I really do appreciate everybody out there that's been tuning in. I know it was a tough loss, but I do appreciate everybody out there. This was it was a tough loss, man. Tough loss. Oh man, tough loss. I don't want to wear the Kyler jersey. Come on, man, this is tough. I can't believe I lost that bet to Smitty. I bet him we bet Niners versus Broncos. I was pretty confident the Niners are going to come in and beat the Broncos. I really did, but he said it. Smitty said Kyle Shanahan's going to be the downfall, and he was. And he didn't believe in Jimmy going out there and move the ball much. So, A Goated says, what do you think of the usage of Kittle? It was tough because they tried to get him the ball at times. There was times where they weren't, and then he was blocking. Like, it's just tough, man, because Kittle, they're using him as like this multi-purpose guy, and that's what Kyle does. Kyle goes out there, and he uses Debo as a multi-purpose player, right? Wide back. He plays wide receiver. He plays running back. And then you got George Kittle. He's like tight back. I feel like he's like tight line. I'm making this up. Oh, offensive lineman and tight end. He plays tight end and O-line. Like, he's out there blocking all the time. And then by the time he goes out there to catch pass, he's tired. He's not running his routes as crisp as they could be because he's tired from blocking. They're not using Kittle the way they should, man. Now, they honestly aren't. If Kittle was just out there receiving, like any other team that would use him just as a receiver, he'd be cooking it up. But they use him in blocking too, and he's so important. And I know he is important, and we need to do it. But that wears you out, man. That blocking is tiring. It's tough. Like, you could tell Kittle was huffing and puffing. This was his first game back. In the altitude, that was tough. I mean, God, man. You're working these players to the bone. Man. Yo, Bay Area Insight, appreciate you, man. Have a good night. Man. Samuel Chavez, Juice needs more passes if he can clearly burn a linebacker. That again, yeah. Did you see that play by Kyle Juszczyk? Fullback, toe tap. Gotta use him more. Like, that play was disgusting. He burned the linebacker, and he makes a beautiful catch on the sideline. Toe drag, and they don't use him that much. Like, you have these weapons. You have these great players, and they're not being utilized as much. You're forcing the ball to people. Oh, it was tough. Tough. Jeff, we're working on it. We're working on it. I'm getting there. I know it. We're gonna do that. I had to reapply. So hopefully this week we get approved for the YouTube partner program. Trust me, as soon as we get it, we'll be rocking and rolling with that. So yeah, anyways, you guys have a good rest of your night, man. This was tough. I could probably stay on for a few more minutes. Miguel, hey, I appreciate you. Good night from Mexico. It's very late. I know it was late. I came home late. I appreciate you for tuning in. I thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. I know this was late. I know I need to collab with the man. You're right. Good night, David. Hey, good night to everybody. Let's see. It says Eric says going into this game, Kyle knew his running back was low. Why didn't he utilize our other weapons? And that's what we've been talking about more. It's just his game planning, right? Just his game planning has not been looking good, man. He just utilizing running backs wrong. I don't know why they didn't give Jordan Mason more carries. This is a rough, tough game, man, and we lose it. But, one thing is, I'll end this on a good note, I guess, is it's week 3. Still a lot of football left. They have to really hunker down, and I know they've fought through adversity many years. Every time the Niners know how to bounce back, but man, it's just so hard watching this team. Like, it mentally drains you. It drains you. So, Bay Area, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. He basically said, like, yeah, Jimmy, speaking of Jimmy, he goes, yeah, we got to get our rhythm back, our timing back. We haven't really had our timing down together. I don't buy that, man. He's been on this team for 7 years, so I can't live with that excuse. Like, yeah, you don't need timing. I know you haven't had training camp and you need your rhythm, but you've literally had training camp with this team since 2018, not 2017, because you came in the middle. I don't buy it, man. Like, I'm tired of excuses. I just need them to win games and stop playing stupid and stop calling dumb penalties or stop calling dumb plays. Use the players you have. Like, you have this talent on your roster. Use them right. Don't put Debo up the middle. Stop running Debo up the middle. Use Kyle Juszczyk more. You saw what Kyle Juszczyk did. Use Kittle more. Jawan Jennings was dog walk. Jawan Jennings was so good tonight, and they didn't utilize him. When Jennings was making those big time catch, I'm like, yo, this guy clearly needs the ball, and you go away from him. But is what it is. Tough game. We're 1-2. Let's bounce back next week. It's gonna be a long week. The weeks after a loss are so long. Let's hope it's a good week. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. We'll be live again tomorrow. We'll have C-Mac and Vlad on the show tomorrow, and I know they got something to say. I can't wait to hear what they got to say. So I do appreciate you guys. I want to say good night. Have a great rest of your week. I know this was tough, but again, I want to say I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping on the live, and let's do it again tomorrow. We'll talk a lot tomorrow. So have a good rest of your night. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the page, or tell people that aren't subscribed. If you like me, tell them to subscribe. But hit the like button. Y'all got to let's run those numbers up. We got to get those likes up. Get them like numbers up. Appreciate you, okay? I'll probably be live tomorrow afternoon. I'm not sure yet. Maybe it's in between like 1 and 3. I'll be live. I got time tomorrow. I'm not working, so I'll be live in the morning. It's going to be a rough night. I'm going to get some sleep, though. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of your night, guys. I love you. Oh, you know what? I can't believe I didn't mention this at all tonight. I need to get to it before I get to sleep. Why are they not using Danny Gray? Anybody? What you draft him for? I know you drafted him for Trey Lance. Like, I get it. He's Trey Lance's deep threat wide receiver. The guy doesn't even sniff the ball. He's not even sniffing the ball. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. That's it. Myth says because Jimmy's deep accuracy is the same as the total, but it doesn't even, like, you don't even need to throw like a 34. You don't even need to throw a 40-yarder. 20-yard, like at least get him involved in the game. I'm pretty sure Danny Gray can run a slant. I'm pretty sure Danny Gray can do a jet sweep. Like, there can be plays you implement for Danny Gray. You're not even giving him a chance to, like, Get a few plays. At least one play. Build his confidence. It goes back to what Smitty says is he doesn't put these players in to kind of start building their confidence. When they finally get in, like this is what's probably going to happen with Danny Gray. There's going to be a stupid injury and we're going to be pissed. And then they're going to have to make Danny Gray go out there and be next man up. And he's not going to be ready for the moment. Then he's going to have a bad game. And the fans are going to be like, he's a bust. He sucks. He sucks. Get him in there. Have him make a few plays. Like just build his confidence. At least try to throw to him. Yeah. Cameron says they threw to McLeod a little. Yeah, I saw that play. Bay Area says if they activate Danny Gray into the game, you have to use him. Yeah, you might. Exactly, man. Jeff Nelson says, what's the prediction for next week? I don't even know yet, man. I don't even know yet. I don't want to even talk about next week yet. Oh, man. I hope we win. I'll just keep it at that, man. Who do we play? S4 says we play the Rams next week on Monday Night Football. Beautifully Flawed says they went away from Ayuk. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Like Ayuk was working. Like he was cooking it. I was like, okay, baby, Ayuk, Jimmy, they were cooking. Touchdown. I predicted that touchdown when he lined up. So I called those two plays. I was like, Debo here. I thought he was going to get the touchdown to Debo, but they were like 2 yards away or 3 yards. And as soon as they lined up, I see, you see Ayuk right here and Debo right here. They had like Ayuk shade and he runs that quick slant. As soon as they lined up there, I was like, oh, it's going to be a touchdown to Ayuk because that was actually a beautifully called play because the defense keyed in on Debo. They're like, oh, he just got this nice little play. And the defense was keying on Debo. And Ayuk was just right in the middle, like right inside. And I don't even think the defense was keying him. Quick slant. And I was like, what a break, man. That was such a beautiful play. Like, that's the kind of stuff Kyle can, like, generate. But he only does it so sparsely. I think he was like, okay, we got up 7 points. I'm going to let my defense dominate. And then he got away from those types of plays. He got away from those plays. So. Hey, Jeff, appreciate you, man. This one hurt. Easily one of the worst offensive games I've watched. Yeah, man. Eddie, I feel the same. And I said that earlier. Like, I feel so bad for Nick Bosa, man, and Talanoa and Mosley, Mosley and Warner. They play, man. Shout out to Charvarius Ward. I want to talk about Charvarius Ward, man. This guy was cooking it up. Like, I am a huge fan of Charvarius Ward, man. This guy was playing at such a high level. God, dog, man. And the thing about the Niners is just situational awareness is something that they don't, like, they lack it. They lack like you're in certain positions, certain situations, and you're making mistakes, little mistakes, like the safety, man. That's just situational awareness. That's football 101. You make silly plays like that. But you're wasting an effort by the defense, man. Like this defense. I think Eric Davis tweeted this earlier. He goes, if I'm on this team, if I was on this team and playing, I would fight the offensive coaches. That's how pissed Eric Davis was. Like, yo, the defense worked for you. The defense gave you this game. And you couldn't bail them out. They let up 9 points. Right? Hacho says it's Kyle who lacks creativity and game awareness. That's 100% facts, man. Eric says Mike looking like he was the genius behind all this. Well, obviously it was because Mike Shanahan, this is his offensive system. Kyle and all the coaches, they learned it because they were the discipline, the disciples of it. But this 100% is Mike Shanahan's offense. He's the guy that created it. Kyle thought he knew it all because he's the son, but it ain't right, man. Why are we running on a 2nd and 9? They run. You know what they do every time? First down, run. First down, run. Throw the ball a few times, man. God, I know the run game's the key, but you gotta mix it up. Kyle is too predictable. That's it. All right, I'm officially done. I'm gonna be here all night if I don't. Appreciate you guys. Let's get some sleep, man. God. Have a good night. Appreciate you. Hit that like button.